Story: Who's Smarter? Early one morning, a young Brahmin, Ganapati, walked from his village to the nearby stream to bathe, as he did every day. The sun had just risen and the stream was lit by a beautiful pink glow. The water was still cold. Ganapati bathed and offered prayers to the sun. After wringing out the clothes he had washed, Ganapati put them into a basket he was carrying. He then strode into a clearing in the forest, where he usually gathered flowers, which he offered to God during the morning prayer. The birds were chirping merrily, and in a corner nearby, a washerman's donkey grazed quietly. Ganapati found a beautiful patch of wild jasmine, plucked several, and then went to the farthest corner of the clearing to look for a hibiscus. Then he would probably have gone home had it not been for a very young, adventurous lion, hardly older than a cub. This young lion was full of a spirit. He was always wanting to prove himself. In the rough and tumble of his childhood, he had been the most boisterous cub of the pride. He was always getting into fights with his sisters and brothers, and forever getting cuffed by his elders. But he didn't mind. He fought and he got cuffed quite cheerfully. And now that he had become an adult and was on his own, he wasn't going to let the grass grow under his feet. So there he was that morning. He looked around, and though he didn't see Ganapati, for Ganapati was at the farthest corner of the clearing, his eyes fell on the washerman's donkey. "Ah," thought the lion, "this will make a juicy meal. It will start the day well." He smacked his lips at the thought. That was a mistake, for it made the donkey prick up his ears. Then our lion roared splendidly and sprang on the unfortunate donkey. Unfortunate, was it? Oh no! For this was what happened. The lion sprang at the donkey's back, but before he could get a grip, the donkey gave him a kick from his powerful hind feet, such as no lion ever got before. The young lion was hurtled into space. His splendid roar turned into a screech and ended as a whimper. He went like this: "Grow, grooey, scrooey, ing, 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 ing." And while the lion lay dazed, in a state of shock and pain, the donkey turned and galloped off without a backward glance. He hee-hawed loudly as he ran, but no one knew whether he was laughing or merely calling out to his master. Now, when Ganapati heard the lion's roar, he turned around swiftly and was in time to see this curious happening. And when he heard the donkey hee-hawing, it was too much for the poor man. He burst out laughing, and he laughed so much that tears came to his eyes. When he saw the lion, usually so like a king, lying in a heap, he laughed still more and pointed an unsteady finger at the sight. know how it is when you see someone slipping on a banana peel? And here was this lion who looked exactly as though he had slipped on a donkey. The sound of Ganapati's laughter came dimly to the poor lion as he struggled to get back his senses. He tried to open his eyes. His right eye gave him a lot of trouble, for that's where the donkey's kick had landed. He had the biggest black eye a lion ever had, but his left eye was fine, and when he opened it, he saw an outrageous sight. There, a puny man was standing almost within his reach, and not only was he not trying to run away, but worse, it looked as if the sound of laughter was coming from him. The lion blinked and shook his head to clear it. He turned his head and looked around. He couldn't see anything to laugh at. "What's so funny?" he asked irritably. Wiping the tears off his cheeks, the man answered without thinking, "You are funny." When he heard this, the lion got so angry that he shook his mane and roared. Of course, he was still in pain, so his first roar was weak. But when he tried again, the second roar was a little louder, and his third roar was a thunderous one. In an instant, the lion was up and springing at Ganapati. Suddenly, Ganapati found that the lion he had been laughing at was charging towards him full of fury. He took a few frantic steps backward, but he was stopped by the trunk of a tree. The lion was almost on him and would surely have got him. But somehow, just then Ganapati overturned his basket of wet clothes and flowers right onto the raging lion's head. It was a very effective way of stopping the lion. The poor, unlucky lion had to stop in mid-flight and get himself loose from the basket and its load. And when he did so, he found Ganapati well out of reach among the upper branches of the tree. A wiser lion would have gone away, but this one was too young to be wise. Besides, he was very angry about the way things had turned out that morning and was determined to get the man. "I shan't let you go," he roared. "I'll stay here till you get down." Feeling pleased with himself for having escaped from the lion, Ganapati called back cheerfully, "I'm not afraid of you. You seem to be a rather silly lion." This offended the lion even more. He gnashed his teeth and roared loud and long at Ganapati. Then he settled down at the foot of the tree. Every time Ganapati moved, he found the lion's eyes fixed upon him, but Ganapati now had time to look at the lion and size him up. It was a small lion, he saw, yet not one he could brush aside. He wondered how long could he stay like this, perched on the top of a tree while a lion waited for him below. Were there other lions nearby? He wondered. After all, this lion must belong to a pride. "Look, friend," he said chattily, "won't your parents be looking for you?" The lion snarled, "You just come down, and I'll introduce you to them." "Why don't you come up? Then we can talk better," said Ganpati rather tauntingly. The lion fixed burning eyes on him and lay still. "Of course, your parents won't have any trouble finding you, even if you happen to be lost," went on Ganpati. "Not like the poor herons who couldn't find their babies one day. I suppose you must have heard of that." "What?" said the lion, interested in spite of himself. "Herons?" "Oh yes, 2 white herons in the meadow by the pond, you know." "I do not know," said the lion snappily. "Well then, I'll tell you the story," began Ganpati, clearing his throat. "This is a story about 2 herons who were frantically searching for their young." The lion settled himself comfortably in the grass. He loved a good story.